Alright guys, today we're going to look at the equation for photosynthesis, but I want us to see where these elements come from, because a lot of times when we look at this equation, CO2, 6CO2 plus 6H2O yields C6H12O6 plus 6O2. You know, sometimes that's like, well, what do those letters really mean? So hopefully when we look at these symbols that we've made here, it's going to make a little bit more sense. So I want you to remember that when there's a large number in front, we call that a coefficient. And so that would be like multiplying that by the entire compound. So that tells us that there are going to be 6 carbons. And if we've got a 2 here and a 6 here, we're going to multiply those. So that tells us from this compound, we have 12 oxygens. Okay? And then the same thing with this 6. This 6 is going to go with the hydrogen and with the oxygen. So here we're going to have 6 times 2, that gives us 12 hydrogen. And 6, if there's no number here, it's understood to be 1. So 6 times 1, that would give us 6 more oxygen. Now remember when we have our arrow, that arrow we use the word yields, okay? And everything that's on the left side of the arrow are called our reactants. Okay, so we have 2 reactants in photosynthesis. We have carbon dioxide and we have water. So now the oxygens, I'm going to add these up. So this gives us a total of 18 oxygen. So going into this equation, we should have 6 carbons, 12 hydrogen, and 18 oxygen. Well, when I come over here to my model, you can see I have 6 carbons, 12 hydrogen, and 18 oxygen. So let's build this equation. Let's start out. So first thing we have are 6 CO2s. So I'm going to build my CO2s. And I'm just going to scoot these over just a little bit so I've got some room. So one CO2 would have a carbon and 2 oxygen. Notice that I am connecting them. This shows that this is bonded together. Okay, so there's one carbon dioxide molecule. Now I'm going to build another one. And keep going until I get 6 of these. So there are my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 CO2. There's my first reactant. Okay? Now I've got to build 6 waters, 6 H2Os. So the 2 goes with the H, so that means I'm going to have 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen for every water molecule. So there's 1 water molecule. There's 2. There's 3. There's 4. 5, and 6. So now we have 6 H2O. So there are my 2 reactants for photosynthesis. So when I combine carbon dioxide, which we get from the atmosphere, water, which the plants are going to take in from their roots, now I have what I need for photosynthesis to take place. Remember, it's going to happen inside the cell, in the leaf, where the chlorophyll is. Chloroplast is going to house your chlorophyll. And then we also have to capture the sunlight. But these are the 2 chemicals that we need, okay? So now we have our components, we're going to make the products. Remember, everything on the right side of an equation is called the products. So we have one big glucose molecule here, which is the big reason that plants are doing this, because this is their food, this is their sugar. This is the whole point for photosynthesis. Now, we also get some oxygen gas, that is left over and given off into the atmosphere, and we're glad that that happens because we need to breathe that oxygen in, okay? So now, let's start building this big glucose molecule. All I have to work with is what was on this side. This is what went in. So it shows me that I need 6 carbons. So what happens, and this happens actually in the plant, this carbon dioxide molecule gets split apart. And it takes these 6 carbons and comes over here and uses those 6 carbons to start building a glucose. Notice they're all touching because they're all bonded to each other. Okay, so there's my 6 carbons. Then I need 6 oxygens here. So I'm going to grab 6 oxygens, and I'm going to put those in my molecule. And then I need 12 hydrogens. Again, the water's going to split apart. And I'm going to start bringing those over. Now, these are all touching because this is one big molecule. So that is C6H12O6. Now notice I don't have any pluses in here. This is all one compound. This all bonds together. That is one glucose molecule. But look what I've got left over here. I can't just leave this here over on the reactant side. So what happens with this extra oxygen, they come together in pairs because that's how it likes to be in the gas form. So I'll have O2, another O2, another O2, another O2, another one, and then the last one. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, O2, oh, I don't want a plus there, 6, O2, the plus goes here. So this glucose plus these 6 oxygen molecules now make the other part of my equation. Notice that everything that we had over here has now been rearranged and used over here. I don't have any extra, but I don't have any I have exactly the same amount of molecules that I had on each side. They've just been rearranged. So all of the reactants got rearranged and chemically bonded to form the products. So hopefully this helps you to see where these molecules came from, where they went, and how the process of photosynthesis happens inside the plant.